What's up, Magical Misfits? This is Zach. I just want to talk about how I don't know shit. I don't know nothing. I spent 20 years in the rabbit hole, and I think I finally got out. But what happened was, I just started to understand more instead of trying to know more. And I had a friend who helped me with that. I was always the guy who was like, you don't know anything. And then he was quietly like, well, you don't understand anything. And what is it I needed to understand? Well, it's pretty much what Jesus said. Everything Jesus said, that's it. I went down the rabbit hole of knowledge for a reason. I think it's part of my path and stuff, but I just noticed a lot of people, have gotten lost along the way, and it kind of fucks with the truth of what everything's all about and stuff. And I think, it doesn't matter how much you know, understanding is gonna guide and direct that knowledge in a way that just knowledge couldn't do on its own. And there's esoteric ways to describe it, through alchemy or Kabbalah, which I can do now, I guess. But my journey was I was a young little kid, little toddler. I was a bright little boy. I had bleach blonde hair. I was happy. I was full of joy. And through circumstance and abuse and stuff like that, I got dissolution or whatever. My psyche fragmented. I realized the cold truth about life, and through that fragmentation, I tried to compensate through intellectual achievement and by trying to be the smartest person in the room at any given point as a defense mechanism and stuff like that. And I had a third eye opening around 11. I think maybe that was some visual compensation for trauma that I had gone through. And that is called the blackening, negrido. And I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's just a decaying, a stripping away of everything, of innocence, loss of innocence. And from there, that visual compensation turned into what they call albedo, or the whitening. And that's where I just, got the inflated spiritual ego, visual compensation. I would, have these visions, so I thought I was some kind of guru or something like that. And I was just really just a know-it-all. But it was all part of my process. It was all part of, an alchemical process. I just wanted to make this video, I guess, because, I just want to reiterate how unimportant knowledge can be, how important it was to my journey and stuff, but how unimportant it can be when not guided properly and not rooted in humanity. So I think from there, the albedo process, as soon as I started realizing that my knowledge is hollow and knowledge is nothing, and that even though I spent 20 years reading books and studying and doing all this esoteric research, I still don't know shit about anything. And I got humbled. And this is a side note, but I think every Christmas the past 3 Christmases I've had what you could call a 5D experience, or Christic consciousness, or no mind, or samadhi, or whatever. It's been happening every Christmas. That's been tripping me out. I don't know. But this last one, I got really humbled. And I'll tell you what happened. My buddy played a guitar riff, and the guitar riff was so sweet. And he's kind of like on the path like me too, but like he said he usually trolls God with his music, but he didn't want to troll God that day because it was Christmas. He wanted to pay respect to Jesus. So he played a guitar lick, and he didn't tell me any of that. He played a guitar lick so sweet that I understood how deep my friend was. He was all the way to the bottom of the ocean deep, and through that understanding of another person, I saw Jesus in him. I'm not even Christian. I don't know what I am. I'm a Zach, but I saw Jesus in him, and through that understanding of that, it opened up this 5D experience of like expanded consciousness that really put things into perspective of how small I am compared to the intelligence of God and its divine plan for me. And I got to peep into like my own personal cosmic joke and like why everything was the way it was, and everything I described to you about the albedo and rubedo and stuff like that. Well, rubedo is the reddening, and I think that's what's happening now, which is a compression of everything I gained in the whitening process, the albedo. So, but yeah, I mean, that's all about embodiment and stuff like that. But I guess more of what I'm talking about is how I was humbled, and it was like I was doubting God the whole time. I was questioning the divine intelligence. I was the ultimate skeptic. I wrestled with God. I was haunted by God. I didn't want to fully have faith. In my spiritual ego, I would claim to be a wizard, but I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in God fully. So my magic was hollow. It had very little power because there was no actual belief in it, which is very important to magic. So this last Christmas, it just felt like God had just like, boom, pinned me down and be like, you get it now, motherfucker. Here, get up, dust yourself off. You're fine. And then I was like, oh my God. I thought I was wrestling with God. He was like holding my head while I was trying to swing at him. And I couldn't hit him. And then he was like, okay, let me show you 0.01% of my power. And then he just pinned me down and looked me in the eyes. He's like, do you believe me now? So, yeah, I mean, that's the best way I could describe it. Like, there was a lot of stuff happening in that moment, like the expanded consciousness, like experience of just everything I had a question to my whole life. The whole reason I was seeking knowledge and all that is to answer these questions. And then finally, it wasn't even knowledge that brought me to these answers. It was understanding. As soon as I had like an ounce of understanding, everything I had questions to got answered. Anything I had a question to at all in that moment. And it was just like, boom. And I feel like I still got that. Like, if I really wanted to ask the universe any question, it would just like kind of airdrop it into my subconscious, and I pick up on it. And no books taught me how to do that. And I gotta give respect to my friend. His name's Dion, because he's not one for reading books, but he's like, he has more magical potential than me in ways. It's just he doesn't have the language to ground it, whereas knowledge is important because you'll get the technical language and stuff. But it's almost the ultimate trap when it comes to actually doing magic and not being some kind of like couch wizard or whatever. But I don't know. I think that was a good little ramble about how dumb I am, and that like whatever that higher thing is smart, you know. As soon as my ego got out of the way, now like when I play drums, it's like something's possessing me and it's playing drums. You know, when I write poetry, when I do all the things that I love to do, I carry that spirit with me, that higher self whatever. I'm just focusing on trying to embody it, you know. I've been doing pull-ups and push-ups and shit like that, and like, whereas I used to be the idea guy, you know what I mean? Like, well, actually, you know what I mean? But now I'm just doing shit, and it feels really good. And in the past 2 months, I've probably done more than I have in the past 5 years, which is big. So I don't know. That's my little spiel. I hope you can take something from it, because damn, it took me 20 years to figure that one out. So maybe I can save you a little bit of time. Like, yes, read books. Yes, get your technical knowledge down. But after that, dude, like, get to work, because that's what it is. So, peace and love. Hell yeah. Actually made a good video, I think, this time. Don't look at my older ones. They're dumb. Well, it's just me. It was me back when I was in the knowledge, you know, back when I was trying to explain and mansplain high magic and chaos magic. I realize now it doesn't work like that, so I'm humbled. I'm sorry for being a nerd. No, I'm not sorry. Not sorry for being a nerd. Okay, catch you later. Bye.